Hey guys, this week's project is mostly green in nature and absolutely loves water. Well, it is a frog, or possibly a gecko, or maybe I should say a frog-shaped person. Most frogs I've seen usually don't wear a t-shirt and scarf after all. But I deliberately left this project fairly simple so that I can add more accessories later on down the line. Anyway, let's get into the project. For the materials, I will be using shades of green and yellow along with some shades of brown for his boots. I just love this mint green combo. Well, to be fair, I just love the whole colour palette as it is for this project, and I will of course leave a full list of all the materials I used in the description box below. Okay, so small little disclosure here, I made these boots a long time ago. They were originally meant for another project but weren't quite the right colour, so I put them aside for a future project. And so I've decided to reclaim them as my frog's wellies, or boots, whichever. Because I wanted to use these boots for a frog, I needed the skin tone to be green, and so instead of unravelling the brown and being left with random lengths of yarn, I just chose to fold it back and carry on with the lighter green. So I was left with a cool folded boot feature. I mean, look, it's style, I guess. This is a stylish frog. Here you can just see me weaving in the brown tails and cutting off the excess. I started my little frog's arms by doing the fingers first. Looking at frog images online, they typically have 4 pads on each hand. I mean, sometimes you will see them drawn with 3, but I decided to have 4 for mine. I crocheted each finger and then joined them together, offsetting one of the fingers ever so slightly. I then crocheted the arm, and when I got to the top, I changed the yarn colour to yellow, as that was the colour I chose for my shirt. This little froggy will be wearing a shirt, if you didn't know already. It gets cold around the pond. I joined the legs off camera and started to colour change the light yellow to get the underbelly detail. This part took a hot minute, but all I did was work my way up the body, switching colours when I reached the belly area. Okay, you don't have to say it, I see it. I also switched to the shirt colour when I reached the right point, and using the yellow yarn I crocheted the shirt. Joining the arms is always tricky, so with the power of editing, I'm going to cut them already being done. So from here, I just need to carry on and finish up to the head. I will also do this off camera since it's nothing new, and come back when it's done. I also did some cleanup of the bottom of the shirt by doing some surface crochet along the bottom line of the shirt. It does kind of look a bit tight, but it's fine, it's fine. Trust the process. For the eyes, I simply crocheted a dome with half of it in the light yellow and the other half with the mint green. I then went back and did some surface crochet along the middle of the two colours with the green to give the impression of the eyelids. Here I just did 2 rows of surface crochet, then slip stitched them together. The effect is quite subtle, but looks good in my opinion. All that's needed are the safety eyes to really sell this. After I finished up the eyes, I then sewed them onto the head. At this point in the project, I decided I didn't quite like the look of the colour changes in the belly area. It wasn't too bad, but the more I looked at it, the more something just bugged me. So I decided to do some needle felting over the top of it. To make sure I had an exact colour match though, I had to make my own needle felting yarn. I did this by cutting some lengths of yarn, wrapping them around a skewer, unravelling the strands, and then using a pet brush to smooth out the strands. With the yarn separated, I just needle felted it onto the belly while making sure to keep the shape. I'll admit that needle felting onto a finished and pristine project is often very scary and daunting for me, as it often doesn't look the best when you get started. Having doubts midway through and thinking that I may have ruined this amigurumi definitely crossed my mind. But it's also a trust the process kind of craft, so the more you use that needle to compact the fibres together, the better it will look.
One eternity later.
I also wanted him to be wearing a knitted scarf. That t-shirt just wasn't enough to keep him warm, so even though I'm not the best knitter, I still gave it a go. I mean, I gave it a go, but I didn't like it. I have no idea why I can crochet but can't really seem to get the hang of knitting. Fun fact, I actually bought my knitting needles first and tried to learn that before I ditched them for my crochet hooks. We can't all be good at everything. Anyway, I'd like to say that once I'd cast on, I just knitted a scarf using the orange yarn. But as you can see, that wasn't the case.
2 hours later.
Once I'd calmed down enough and stopped talking myself out of doing a knitted scarf, I cast on again and I tried it again, this time a bit more calmer and not trying to rush it. I finished the scarf off by adding some tassels at each end, but honestly, me and knitting, we do not get on. We're not the best of friends. Not gonna lie, just leave it at that. Don't want to talk about it. It's done. And with that, all that's left to do is to finish off this very long scarf. Not long as in length, but long as in how long it took me to actually do. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment, and even consider subscribing if you like the content I create. Don't forget to hit that bell button to be notified whenever I upload a new video. All I can say is enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.